So I get my videos are sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're shit. Sometimes they're interesting, sometimes they're boring. I get it. But if you make videos like this Fritanga fella, uh, you would expect the person making the videos like this Fritanga fella to say, well, I should watch his video, you know, before I open my gob. Gob! Somebody sent me on Twitter, says, hey, Fritanga Plays, I don't know him, but he has a, channel's a little bit bigger than mine. I don't know how big he is, but I'd never heard of him until today. It seems like he's building a nice channel over there. Well, I don't know if it's nice. It's very, it's very much like, look at all the evil things I can find to complain about. But, that's it's living, I suppose. This won't be edited. I'm waking up. Fuck you. You know why I'm waking up? Because I was up really late, till like 4 in the morning. You know why? I'm playing fucking Elden Ring. So settle back, Fritanga, you fucking listen. Fritanga. Remember Boy Meets World? Her name was Topanga, which I always thought was so weird. It was like, I always thought that was like tapioca pudding. Or Topanga Pass in LA. Remember that? It doesn't matter. It would, I mean, anyway. So Fritanga is under the impression that I was taking the piss out of Elden Ring. Elden Ring, I put a video up last night, is one of my favorite games of all time already. I think it's the most immersive video game ever made. It is delightful. It is phenomenal. I adore it. Unless something amazing happens, which would be wonderful, just because it means there's more brilliance out there coming this year our way. I would say Elden Ring is easily my number one game of the year. So not so far, but I can't imagine it'll get dethroned, such as it is. But he chooses to sort of look at the previous video's thumbnail. I don't know if he watched it. If he watched it, I know it wasn't my best communicated video, but I think it's anybody who watches my channel and will even watch just that video knows I'm not a graphics guy. I'm always gameplay over graphics, and I have been since I started my career in games, and since I started talking about games much after that, right? You think Twisted Metal was a looker? Come on now. We were terrified because Destruction Derby looked so much better than our game, but our game was more fun, and we learned that's all that really matters. At least to most people, it's more fun. I get it. They have their fans. Demolition Derby, depends where you got the game. It had different titles. So, and my favorite game last year was Severed Steel. The year before that it was Ultra Kill. That same year it was Ultra Kill. The number 2 game was the demo version of Unpacking. So if you think I'm a graphics whore, you're barking up the wrong fucking tree. My video wasn't about that I said it didn't deserve the 97. I was very specific. Yes, it was meant to be attention grabbing at a headline level, just like all of Frijita, what's his name? Fritanga. Just like Fritanga, you see that guy's thumbnail? It's Jesus Christ. Everything, the sky is falling every day with this guy. It's like he went to the quartering school of thumbnail design, but that's fine. Whatever. Whatever works, right? As long as you're honest. But in this case, he's not honest. But I think he's just misinformed. My video was about critics who value graphics in one review, and then in the very next, not the very next, but in another review, that exact same critic says things that make it clear they don't value graphics in that review. It's not that you don't have a right to change your mind game per game, but as an individual critic, it calls into account your seriousness about the job. It would be like Roger Ebert back in the day dinging an Indiana Jones movie because he's like, I fucking hate action movies. And then 3 days later, somebody else makes an action movie he likes and he gives it a great review, and he never mentions he doesn't like action movies, right? It's like, but that's, how could you give, I'm making this up, The Last of Us 2, which I loved as well, a great score because of all the visual improvements and all the visual advancements in terms of animation systems and things like that, and say that that's one of the reasons you adore the game, and then You say nothing about that here when the graphics are clearly, at a pure technical level, they're subpar compared to what we're used to on the PlayStation 5 and in high-end PCs and whatnot. Uh, I'm not shitting on the game. I gave the game a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, depending on the category. I'm saying that that video was about those specific numbers that added up to a 97. A number of them were inconsistent as a reviewer, and thus you should look at those numbers with a suspicious eye. That's what that video was about. If Fritanga Plays had bothered to watch the video and understand the video or reach out to me before making a video about my video, I could have explained that. And look, if somebody came at me and said, Jaffe, that video was confusing as fuck, okay, you can hit me on that. Make a video on that, because I would agree with you. It's a hard concept for me to articulate. I still don't know if I've articulated it that well, even in this video. But I assure you, and anybody can look at my history of as a developer and then as somebody who makes YouTube videos about games, I'm not a graphics guy. So you can paint me however you like, within reason. But you'd be, in this case, you'd be wrong. Fritanga.